Welcome to episode 127 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband, my oldest son and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. There is also a group for the podcast on Ravelry where you can participate in make-alongs and the occasional giveaway. There is a make-along running. At the moment it's Fluff to Stuff 2025. The hashtag for Instagram is FluffToStuffMal 2025. And the rules are the same as last year. As it says, Fluff to Stuff, you spin the yarn and you knit something from the yarn. And for those who participated last year, of course, you're eligible to participate if you spun the yarn last year and you knit this year, of course. My next make-along, this is a year-long make-along. My next make-along will start May 1st and that's June 1st. And that's the Arctic Summer of Socks. And those are the only 2 make-alongs I'm running this year. I might change my mind and do the Grinchmal at the end of the year. We'll see how much I can manage. But at the moment I have a really good balance in my life and the trip to Brighton really charged my batteries. So I'm feeling better than I have in a long time. I could talk about what I'm wearing first, not that you can see a lot of it because I'm really low on the camera, but I'm wearing my Ranunculus, one of them that I knit from yarn that was gifted by Selma of Little Big Knits and Sue of Distant Stitches, my good friend Crafty87 on Instagram. And it's wool and vine. And the colorway is tea leaves. And my FOs, I have quite a lot of FOs, but I haven't got a single active whip. I'm casting on something later today, I think. So that I'll show you that in my podcast in April. That might also be later in the month because of Easter. I plan on having Easter off. My youngest son is staying with us for Easter, so there might be some footage that I will share with you in my April podcast, but again it's going to be later in the month, I think. We'll see. My FOs first. Spinning first or knitting first? We'll do spinning first because it's on top. This doesn't look like much. It's merino nylon from Ulvei, beautiful colors. And the reason why I only have this tiny skein is that I already wound up the full skein. And it's a merino nylon blend, so I'm knitting socks for hubby. And this is the 2 first skeins, so this isn't actually a finished project, but this are the 2 first skeins of my Hillesvåg sweater spin. I'll end up with maybe four skeins. I'm not sure, but these are the 2 first skeins. And that's my finished spinning. And that's my finished knitting. And as I said, I have 1, 2, 3. I actually have 4 FOs. Some are long-term projects that I've been working on for some time. I'm not telling you the truth. I only have one that I've been working on for some time. And it's this one. And it's been finished for quite some time, but I finally blocked it. This is the, checking my notes, Kodama by Nadia Crétin-Léchenne. Sorry, I'm not that good in French. Of course, the link is down below, as always. And the yarn is from my Yarny Corner. And the brilliant thing about this pattern is that it looks the same on both sides. And this is a beautiful one skein project. It was a fun knit because of the lace pattern. So I might knit more of these. This is a quick project. I knit these before we went to England because I wanted something new to wear in England. And this is the Quaker yarn stretcher by Susan, I think it's Susan Ashcroft, yeah. And the yarn is one strand of Sandnes it's mohair, Sandnes silk mohair silk, and the other is Sandnes something called alpaca følgetråd, and it's alpaca and it's lace weight, so it's meant to be held double with something else. And I've held 2 lace weights together to get fingering. And when we came to England, it turned out it was about 14 to 15 centigrades and sunny. So I never got to use this. But it's still in the season for us here. So this I seamed up. It's been finished for about a week, but I finally blocked it and seamed it because I was going to record today. And it's the Grid Gambit by Samantha Guerin. I think that's how she pronounces it. And it's one of those you knit flat and then seam at the back. And you knit it like this, at an angle, sort of. And then you seam it. And this is, the grey is Corriedale non-superwash sport undyed that I had in my undyed stash for the shop for ages because it was difficult to dye other than semi-solids, and I love doing variegateds and speckles, so I never put it in the shop. I didn't buy a lot. I think I bought only 10 skeins to test it, and I never put it in the shop. The other one is, I think that's also a Corriedale, or it could be a Polworth. It's dyed in the wool by me in the colorway Arctic Sunset and then spun up. And I love the way it looks because it's actually striping. Because I dyed it in stripes, if you know what I mean. And it turned out to stripe in this as well. So I really love this. It's a bit too warm for spring, but I'm going to use it a lot next winter, I think. And my last FO is a sweater. I cast it on a week ago. When I went to my local yarn store, I was going to buy something completely different. And then I saw this color, and I had to have it. It's a Felix pullover, and because of the 6mm needles and the yarn being what it is, it's really oversized and cozy, and I love it. I wore it to quiz night last night. And it didn't take a lot of yarn either. As you can the Felix, I knit 2 Felix cardigans and 1 Felix pullover. Sorry, the Felix pullover is a pattern by Amy Christoffers. And this one is totally different from the other ones. And it's a bit difficult to see the lace pattern in the raglans because of the fluffy yarn. But I wanted, because I like the shape of it. The neck is a bit wide, but it doesn't matter because I have to have a tank top underneath anyway, because it's see-through. So that's my last FO. Editing Bente here. I totally forgot about one of the FOs. And I'll just do it quickly here because I'll probably totally forget about it before April. And it's already been gifted to my son for his birthday. I have pictures of the sweater here. It's the name is Sjøstjernegenser. It's by Rauma Design, and it's knit in Rauma Finu. I think I've shown it to you as a work in progress, but this is what it looks like as a finished object. And now that I've told you about it, I can forget about it again, so I don't have to remember it for April. So that's editing Bente, and now back to past Bente. And as I said, when it comes to whips, I don't have an active one to show you. I have plenty of hibernating whips. I have two tiny sweaters to knit, and I'm knitting on a couple of pairs of socks that I haven't touched. And I'm casting on a pair of socks later today for hubby in the yarn I spun. So that is what I have for knitting. I know it's not a lot, but this time, as it happened, I only had FOs. And I hope you can't hear the AC behind me, because it's hot here today because the sun is coming in through the windows. And I've been moving around. You can tell I'm sitting in a different spot than I usually do. You have a sleeping snake behind me. I'm chasing the light, basically, and I've wanted to avoid the light in the glasses problem. I don't think I have to use any artificial light from now on until October, maybe, because I have daylight in through the windows. So today I'm sitting here, and next time I might be sitting somewhere else. As I said, chasing the light. It's early in the day still, so. So that's it for crafting, and I'll just start talking about the trip to Brighton. Starting with a montage, isn't that what they call it? Of footage from Brighton. Well, as you could tell from the footage, we went to a football match. We always do that. It's partly because of the football. We go to Brighton once a year. And this time we tried something different. We paid an arm and a leg to do hospitality tickets, that's what they call it. And that just means that you arrive at the stadium a couple of hours before kickoff, and you're being led to a table where we had 1 bottle of red, 1 bottle of white, and 1 bottle of still water, 1 bottle of sparkling water. And it was ours, so we could drink as much as we wanted, but hubby being teetotal, of course, I couldn't drink 2 bottles of wine on my own. I wouldn't be able to get any enjoyment from the football game. And then we got served a 3-course meal, and that was really amazing. And the football match was also amazing because we won. I realized I'm saying we. That means I'm actually a proper football supporter because I'm saying we. And at halftime we had some more to drink and some snacks, and after the game we got some pork pie. And we could stay as long as we wanted, and we should probably have stayed for about an hour more, because when we left for the train station, the trains were completely packed. This is the first time in my life that I've actually felt it was really claustrophobic, and thankfully the train ride was short because it didn't feel amazing for me with my anxiety. I had a big Texan in front of me, I had hubby behind me, and I had 2 local blokes on my left hand side, and we were crammed tightly together. But as I said, thankfully a short train ride. And the day after, we went to Lesley from Not Quite Enough Yarn. We met up in her hometown this time, instead of meeting halfway, and we met up at the train station, and we had a lovely day with Lesley. We just walked across the street to a small cafe because we wanted to catch up before we started walking. And then we walked to a lovely place down by the, sort of in between a pub and a coffee shop, basically. And that was down by the seafront, and you could see the pictures down by the seafront I took there. And we had a lovely time with Lesley. We caught up, and we didn't talk about knitting or spinning or anything. We just talked about anything else. And I actually got to meet himself this time, her husband, because he showed up at the train station when we were going back to Brighton. And we, of course, had a gift exchange. We did last year as well. And I got the loveliest gift from Lesley. She actually made me rolags, and they're so beautiful. And on the note she put in the bag, she's written imperfect rolags. And the fiber is from Witchcrafty Lady, and it's Corriedale, Falkland and Perendale. And the colors are called Amethyst, Damson, Aqua and Cerulean. And I think they're so pretty. And this has to be, I'm thinking of doing this as a 2-ply self-striping. I'm going to try to get it to be self-striping. I'm not sure if that's possible. I'll probably end up doing this as, I lost the word. I completely lost that word. But I'm going to put it down at the bottom of the screen. I've done a lot of them, but I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Sorry, fractal spin. I remembered. I've done several fractal spins, and it's a lot of fun. And the other fiber she got me was this. And that's also from Witchcrafty Lady. And it's really colorful. And it's called Sunset over Sedona. And this is really colorful, and I think I'm actually going to apply this with some undyed fiber. I might change my mind, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I never split a braid in half anymore and fly it on itself. Because I've got too little yardage to do anything with it. So I always combine either two braids from stash, or I dye up some fiber myself that matches, so I can get some yardage. So either I'm dyeing up something for that, or I'm applying it with some undyed. I might go online in Ulveig's shop and see if she has something semi-solid that matches, or Hillesvåg maybe. We'll see. So that was a sort of a sidetrack about the spinning. I took a short break to move the camera a bit so I don't get the sunlight directly in my face. This might be a short one,